Yo, baby, we love it. Terence Crawford! I can't believe it! Go for Terence, don't hurt yourself.
Terence Crawford's recent event spiraled out of control after a heated moment erupted into a full-blown physical brawl, forcing security to rush in and restore order. Additionally, witnesses claim that tensions were sky high as Crawford muscled his way through the chaos, escalating the scene and fanning the fumes until security had no choice but to step in and haul him away before things further spiraled out of control and he made a bigger mess of things.
Yo, baby, we love it. Terence Crawford! I can't believe it! Go for Terence, don't hurt yourself.
That's an expensive injury. Get me baby up.
But while Crawford's outside the ring drama has raised eyebrows, it's what's inside the ring that's truly set the world ablaze. Hence, Paddy Pimblett shared his thoughts, saying it is going to be a good one, and he is curious to see how Crawford handles moving up that much weight since the jump is huge. He hopes Crawford has added some muscle to handle the challenge against Canelo Alvarez, and said he would love to see Crawford come out on top in this massive showdown as he's fed up seeing Canelo's reign.
His last fight was 47, right? I think, and Canelo's 68. So he's jumping 21 pounds.
He's doing a big jump up.
Yeah.
Big, but give him his due. He's give it a bit of time, hasn't he? And put a bit. Hopefully, he's put a bit of muscle on.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Crawford win that.
Yeah, I think he will.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like watching boxing. I'm a big boxing fan. I think he will. I think his style matches up really well with
I hope he does.
Canelo.
Sick of Canelo.
I'll tell you what, Canelo lands. It's good
especially
night.
That weight.
It's good night.
Well, I really like Terence Crawford, so I'd back him. You know what I mean? I like Canelo, but I'm not his biggest fan. I'd rather see Crawford win and shake up the boxing world a bit.
Do you think it'd be a decision, or you think you can put him out there?
I don't know, Canelo's a lot bigger than him, so more than likely be a decision.
Building on that, Alexander Volkanovski gave his take, saying he believes Crawford will fill out well at this weight class. He admitted it is tough to pick between the two because the size difference is real, but both Crawford and Canelo are just so good that it makes the matchup hard to call.
I reckon Crawford could fill out well. Now, what are these fighters feeling when it's like that? They're that close to each other. Oh man, they've done it so many times it feels normal. What do you got? Mate, they're both incredible. It's hard to pick. Honestly, it's obviously the size, but Crawford's so good. I mean, Canelo's just so good too. So it's, I don't know. Would you give Crawford a chance? Hey? Oh, 100%. Yeah, Crawford is that good.
Incredible to see happening. But, you know, it would be interesting to see how, Canelo and Crawford goes. Obviously, moving up. Man, Canelo's a beast. So it's, but Crawford's so good. Man, I don't know. I don't know. Who am I leaning towards? Man, Crawford's so good, but Canelo, having the size, I don't know, man. I can't pick it. Look at me. I literally cannot pick it. I just think I just got so much respect for both of them. I think they're both incredible, and I cannot just wait to watch and see the result.
Adding to that, Molly McCann added that she cannot wait to see how it plays out, but leans towards a Canelo win mainly because of the size difference. She compared it to the fight between Chris Eubank and Conor Benn because they also had a weight difference. She added that weight classes exist for a reason, and sometimes jumping up is a step too far. However, she states that it will be a masterclass of a fight, and we all will be extremely lucky to witness that fight.
I can't wait to watch it. I think Canelo will win because of the size difference, because it was the same like when he fought Bivol. I thought he was going to win, but Bivol was just a bit too big, and I think there's weight classes for a reason, and maybe that be like Conor and Chris. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's like it's just a step that's just a little bit too far, but I think that watching Canelo's training camp at the minute, you can see he's adjusting for a fighter who's going to be faster and lighter, and I think you can see Crawford knows he's probably going to have a bit more in the tank than maybe what Canelo will, but I think it should be an absolute masterclass from the pair of them, and we'll all be extremely lucky to witness that fight.
However, Roy Jones Jr. stated that the weight may not play a big role as many people are expecting it to be. He stated that if Terence can handle Canelo's power, he may beat him, but if Crawford cannot hurt Canelo, he does not stand a chance.
When you know how to box, when you're as skillful as Terence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much.
Only thing that matters with the weight is can you take the punch. And I'm sure you've been sparring with super middles and light heavies, so I'm sure you probably can take the punch. So that's the only thing when you got skill. Now, if you don't have a skill, you can't take the weight, take it up, because you're gonna lose your punch, you're gonna lose everything. When you got skill, all your stuff that you have goes up with you. You talk to the GOAT. I went out with a heavyweight.
Sharing his view, Shane Mosley warned Terence not to be in the pocket with Canelo for too long, as that is when he becomes dangerous. He added that Canelo is quicker than many people realize, and that extra speed allows him to catch opponents clean when they try to trade up close.
That's when Canelo's gonna be able to catch you. But I'm not saying like that, and that doesn't mean moving around the ring like you have to jump around the ring. That just means just not being in the pocket too long. Because Canelo's very fast. He's faster than what you would think. I'm gonna say that.
Moreover, Coach Joel Diaz shared his insight, saying that as a Mexican fighter, he knows exactly how Canelo Alvarez operates in the ring, and the key is to frustrate him early.
I know Canelo, and I knew Canelo's weaknesses and how you can frustrate him. You frustrate Canelo, you beat him.
In addition to having been part of Dimitri Bivol's camp for the Canelo fight, Joel made sure Bivol had the tools to throw Canelo off his rhythm, and it paid off. Joel made sure Bivol applied pressure in a way that frustrated Canelo.
When they came to me and said, okay, we're gonna train Canelo, train Bivol, and we want you to be part of the team. Let's go part of the plan. What does he need? And we started putting things together in the gym. You know, we started working on it. And one of the main keys was keep jabbing him, keep jabbing him, keep jabbing him. Don't stop jabbing. That's what Canelo always tries to hit you in the arm to wear you down. And if you watch the fight, I had a bag of ice all the time on his arm through the whole fight. In the second round, I know facial expressions. When Canelo was trying to get in and he couldn't get in, and tried and coming back, and he started making different. I said, you know what? He's frustrated. Keep jabbing him. Keep him away. There was a point where they wanted to send Bivol to knock out Canelo. No. Stop. Let's keep him where he is.
Building on that, Shane Mosley advised Terence Crawford to keep his jab working and take a page from Dimitri Bivol's playbook. He pointed out how Bivol controlled the distance with his jabs and used it to outwork Canelo. Mosley believes if Crawford can stick to his long-range punches, he will put himself in a good position to handle what Canelo brings.
You can do 3 punch combinations, but meaning keep the jab always out there. Keep long-range punches always out there. If you, kind of like what Bivol did, you know, if you keep your long-range punches, then you'll be all right. You know, long range. But when you start trying to get in there and trade heavy blows, that's when you're gonna be in trouble. But if you stay smart, you know, with your boxing skills, then things can be difficult for Canelo to respond, and you'll be able to, you know, hopefully you can be able to get through the whole fight, you know, do your thing, touching them and make them respect your power.
Although Shane Mosley admitted that deep down he knows Crawford's chances are slim, he still gives him a shot because it is boxing. Mosley pointed out that Canelo is strong, powerful, fast, and has the ring IQ to match, but reminded everyone that in this sport anything can happen.
You have the doubters, like myself, doubting that this can happen, but this can happen. Like, you can actually, you know, get that shot in some kind of way, like a trick shot or something, and it can actually turn your way. He's too big. He's got speed, has power. He's just as smart as you are and knowledgeable as you are, but on the other hand, anything can happen. So,
moreover, Teofimo Lopez backed Crawford, saying that he might just find a way to pull off an upset. He stated that he was leaning towards Canelo initially, but due to his recent fallout, he has then switched sides.
Me, I'm gonna say I've been saying Canelo, but I think Crawford might pull something. You know
why?
I think that the odds are in his favor as far as that. You know, the reason why people are going to tune in is not just because of Canelo. It's going to be mainly because of the Crawford. How is he going to do going up, you know, 2 more weight classes, you know, especially after the Madrimov fight that he had in, last year? Mm-hmm. I think that's the problem, though. Crawford is fighting too many. He's not fighting a lot. He's fighting once every year. That's bad.
However, Dan Rafael criticized Crawford and Canelo for sitting down to have dinner together, saying he does not want to see fighters who will be having a brawl soon having dinner dates, where in actuality they should be keeping that edge. He states that fighters being all friendly together like that takes away the fire and hype that was supposed to be built up for when they finally step into the ring.
There was that photograph published on the social media platforms of the two of them with Turki Al-Sheikh having a nice friendly meal together on the night before, I guess Thursday night. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm all for respect and being professional, but I don't like seeing the guys who I want to see fight each other having dinner together. You know what I mean? Like they're buddy-buddy, like they're making a business arrangement. But I can understand their perspective. They were asked about that. And they say we're professionals, but once the bell rings, it's a totally different ballgame. We're there to win.
In addition, Ad Oladipo shared that he has changed his mind about Canelo versus Crawford after catching an interview with Dan Rafael, who raised concerns about Canelo's showing against William Skull.
I've changed my mind about Canelo Crawford. Let me just sort of get to it straight away. I've changed my mind, and I'm probably going to change it again 1,000 times. The reason I've changed my mind is because I was watching an interview Dan Rafael did with IFL TV. And he didn't give a prediction, but he was so concerned by Canelo's performance against William Skull, it made me go back and watch that awful performance again. And I was like, geez. You know, as much as people kind of like dick out Skull, like Skull was running, Skull, okay, yeah, he was. But Canelo was not able to cut off the ring at all. Like, his legs almost looked like they were walking in treacle. No joke.
Although that made Oladipo go and re-watch the fight, and he bashed Canelo on his performance. He noted that Canelo was unable to cut off the ring.
And my thing is, were his legs that slow because he just could not get to him? Like, as Father Time just caught up with Canelo, and we don't know. Has it just happened and we've kind of like, we always make excuses for Canelo, don't we? Like, yeah, and I do. I'm the biggest Canelo excuse maker. Like, he wasn't up for it. That's the one thing we always feel. Oh yeah, it was Belanga, he didn't really care. Oh, it was Munguia, he was okay. Why can't we just all admit that the Canelo we see now is unfortunately maybe half the Canelo that fought Golovkin the second time. The third time, I won't even mention that because I thought Golovkin was done. But the second fight was, for me, like peak Canelo.
Sharing his take, the Wade concept states that in boxing, it is always the same conversation about how the best rarely face the best because the sport has turned into a game of politics where money takes priority over competition.
You always talk about boxing, the best don't fight the best. It's really just been again, boxing politics game where money is valued over competition in some cases, and in most cases, where the sport is an individual one. Why wouldn't you want to be selfish? Why wouldn't you want to make as most money for the least challenging route possible? Because this is a very dangerous sport, and the more risk you take, the more that you probably leave in the ring and can't take home with you. And I mean mentally, physically, however health-wise you want to put that. So I get it, but at the same time, Tom is right. From the fan perspective, we of course always want to see a hierarchy where the best fight the best, regardless of what belt and who's paying the most purse or whatever, which is why Turkey keeps trying to invest more in the sport.
Furthermore, Dan pushed back on criticism about Crawford's resume, saying it does not really matter who either fighter has beaten in the past because both men are in completely different positions now. He pointed out that the weight class, the point of their careers, and so many other factors make this a fresh matchup that goes beyond just looking at old wins and losses.
Terence Crawford's resume, which is kind of easy to do for a lot of people. Again, not Terence Crawford's fault. It is what it is, but let's see, who they beat in the past is not relevant to what's going to take place when they step into the ring together in September, because they're both in different positions in their career, different weight for Terence Crawford. There's a whole lot of things that are different than just looking back at their past fights.
Adding to that, Dan also praised Turki Al-Sheikh for making these fights possible. He stated that Turki is not biased and is a boxing fan. He added that Turki wants to create excitement, drama, and big fights that everyone wants to see.
What Turki wants, if you follow what his public statements are over the last 20 or so months since he's become the focal point of the major fights in boxing, he's a boxing fan. And what does he want as a boxing fan? He wants what you want, he wants what I want, and what lots of other people want, which is a good fight. He wants to see guys get in there and the sweet science is fine and boxing is great and showing your skills, but also showing the heart and the bravery and not being afraid to mix it up and, not running around and trying to avoid each other. Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez in their careers have not been guys that have run. They're guys that'll stand and fight. They can counter, but they've got great skills. And I think that's what he wants to see. So who he's rooting for, I don't know if he's rooting for one particular guy. What I know he's rooting for is for there to be drama and excitement and entertainment.
Looking at Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford from a commercial angle, Max Kellerman said it would easily stand as the biggest boxing event he has ever covered. The scale, the buzz, and the stakes would push it into a league of its own on the boxing calendar.
Because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is going to be because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in '78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watched, per buy, watch, that's 20 million people. This is gonna do multiples of that. So so when you look at it from like a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever covered.
However, Canelo Alvarez stated that he does not need to stoop to Crawford's level and talk trash because he trusts his skills to do the talking for him. He said he sees himself as a true professional and believes that when fighters rely on trash talk, it is usually proven that they lack the tools to get the job done inside the ring. For Canelo, the plan is simple. He will teach Crawford inside the ring.
I'm not that guy to like to talk shit about the opponents. We know we are good fighters. We know we give everything in the ring to put a good fight, and sometimes people talk shit a lot, and when they stay in the ring, they do nothing. So we don't, in my opinion, I don't need to talk shit about it.
On the other hand, the Wade concept said Terence Crawford has every right to throw some trash talk Canelo's way because his own resume is constantly questioned by him. Even with strong support behind him, Crawford still faces doubt at every step, so speaking up and firing back is part of showing he belongs on that big stage.
Terence in his bag right now. He's going third person, you feel me? But yeah, like Terence has every right to talk his shit literally here. He's being respectful and fair play, but the questions are the ones he's asking, the ones he knows are being asked. What's he look like at 168? Can he take the power? Is he going to be too small? Is he going to be able to deal with Canelo's experience over time, right? Even though Terence is the older fighter, he has, I think, 20 less fights than Canelo does, or maybe more. I think more than 20. And also, you know, competition level. This will be the most skilled, most experienced, biggest, strongest fighter that Terence Crawford's ever faced, without a question.
At the end of the day, all the noise, opinions, and drama swirling around Terence Crawford and Canelo only amplify what's at stake. Whether Crawford's bold leap up in weight pays off, or Canelo's experience and power prove too much, this showdown promises to be far more than just another fight. One thing's certain, when Crawford and Canelo step into that ring, all the talk stops, and the world will be watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share with a fan, and if you want to stay updated with all things boxing, subscribe, but don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat. Now let us know your thoughts down in the comment sections below. Who are you rooting for? And we will see you in the next video with more fighting updates.